Hey, how's it going, you guys? Kim Doyle here, and welcome back to another video. Today, I'm excited to talk to you about the 3 things that I would use if I were starting an online business today. And I can tell you the barrier of entry is lower than it's ever been. I started doing this 17 years ago. And for those of you who are familiar with WordPress or remember me as the WordPress chick, you used to have to install a plugin in WordPress just to reorder the navigation. You couldn't set what order things appeared in the menu. Fortunately, it's a lot easier today. So this is what I wish I had had 17 years ago. Although I will say this, I kind of feel like there's sort of a newbie tax we all pay when we get started in this space because you're trying to figure it out and you're hearing messages from a lot of different people. You have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. But really what you need is valuable content, an audience who wants your content, something to provide value in the sense of a product, something that solves a problem for them, and you need traffic. So it's that simple. And these 3 things can get you there. And of course, you can amplify it and turn on the gas with other items. And we'll talk a little bit about that, maybe with some bonus things. But let's go ahead and jump into this. So the first platform that I want to talk to you about is Substack. And I'll tell you that I was very apprehensive about Substack. You know, having been in this space for a long time, I got started in WordPress and search engine optimization and all of that and driving traffic. And, you have to have the content on your own site. Mind you, I still own all my own content. It's written, created somewhere else. So for some reason, Substack said, all right, Kim, we're going to kill your account. I would not be screwed. I'll tell you that. But I was very apprehensive about it because I was like, well, I have an email marketing tool, email service provider, and I've got my own website. Why do I need this? Well, hello. Traffic. Substack is, I think, the strongest, most peaceful place for organic traffic to connect with people. If you show up and engage and consistently publish, you're going to gain more subscribers than any other platform for free. Now, remember, this is free content. This is organic. You can do paid options, of course. The thing with Substack is you do have an option to do a paid newsletter versus free. So I have some paying subscribers. I have that option there, but it's really just to support my work. I don't have any gated content. I don't know that that's ever going to be part of my plan, but you do have that option. I will tell you this, that as someone with a lot of experience online, I felt like the setup process was a little janky. So I did create a visual guide to Substack, and I'll put the link. It is step-by-step screenshots, and it shows you a ton of variables because it really is not a very, I don't want to say smooth, but there's a lot of language that if you're familiar with stuff online, may not make sense. Substack was originally created for journalists, a new platform. And for what it's worth, there's a ton of big journalists from all over the world who are leaving mainstream legacy media, but are publishing on Substack. So know that. In terms of the setup process, it's not real clear simply because you have a personal profile that you can write under, and then you can create as many publications as you want. That being said, 0 cost to get started, 0 cost to engage and connect. You can start publishing right away. You can choose to charge if you want. You can include links in Notes. Notes is Substack's feed. Any other social media platform, they penalize you for posting links because they don't want people leaving the platform. Substack doesn't do any of that. You can highlight other people. You can tag them when you share. It's literally, it's a breath of fresh air. There's no advertising on Substack as of now anyway. And, I never say never with extra anymore. But it's great. It's a super low barrier of entry. And here's the fun thing. When you start connecting and engaging in Notes, which again, this is the feed where you can post shorter content, reshare other people's content. You can post your own notes. You can get into conversations. I had an incredible conversation last week with someone that I swear we were kindred spirits. And we connected because I was commenting or sharing her stuff. Another friend had shared it. He had to do a disclaimer and tell her, I promise you, I'm not stalking you. We're just kindred spirits. She's like, we should Zoom. Long story short, we did. We've got a ton of things in common. She started around the same time I did. And it's just fantastic. And now we're looking at opportunities to support and collaborate. Wherever that goes is irrelevant. It's that nice of a place to be on the internet, for lack of a better word. All right, so Substack is where I would start publishing. And I'll tell you this, there are a lot of people who might say that, because I've heard this from friends or clients in the past, I'm not a writer, I'm not a writer. You guys, I would never have considered myself a writer. I did fine in school academically, writing papers and whatnot in college, but it wasn't until I started writing consistently that I found a voice, that I found my cadence. And writing online is very different than sitting to write a novel. Okay. I mean, there's all kinds of different formatting and different options. And so all you need to do is show up and be genuine, be who you are, and practice. It's okay to practice in public. That's the beauty of Substack. You are not going to be judged. But here's the thing. The more you actually write, the easier it's going to be to do things like video, where you need to have descriptions and headlines. And yes, you can use AI to collaborate in all of this, but you have to be able to understand the written word. I really believe this, that if you can write well, you're going to be able to record it. All of this stuff takes practice, but just stick with it. I promise you Substack is worth the time and energy. Just be patient. The more consistent you are, I'm not telling you to do a Gary Vee and post 82 times a day, but the more consistent you are, and whatever frequency you can share and engage with the notes, not my forte, but I'm committing to it, the better results you're going to get. Kind of like with anything else. It's like, exercise, which is always used as a metaphor. If you walk 3 times a week versus 1, you're going to see results more frequently by the 3 walks. And that's not overdoing it. That is not something that most people can't manage. So the same thing is true with Substack. Find what works for you, be consistent, show up, engage, and just have some fun. Like, test it. It's blowing my mind. All right, number 2 would be, of course, hi, here I am, YouTube. I'm calling this my marketing trifecta, and it's Substack, YouTube, and then I'll share the third one. The thing with YouTube, you guys, I was here a long time ago, a ton of how-to videos with WordPress and all of that, and then interviews and live streams that I did in my Facebook group, The Content Creators, doesn't exist anymore. The beauty with YouTube, of course, is that it is evergreen, and you don't know what video is going to pop off or what's going to connect, and there's always more you can learn. You can test and try things, test your headlines, test your hashtags, test shorts, test going live. There's so much to do there. I get it that I have some experience in this space, but you guys, it's been a long time since I have logged into YouTube until this recent relaunch to even look at the Creator Studio to see what has been added. There's all these different things you can do to monetize your channel now. I didn't sign up for a course. There's so many people creating free stuff. And I'm not saying not to sign up for a course. If you find someone who resonates with you and you like the way they teach and you like the structure, if you find someone, invest in the course after you've gotten started. Often, in my experience, I've seen too many people that they wait until they've gone through a full course or they invest in this full course without having the action behind them. And you're going to be a lot more motivated when you're already doing the work. That's kind of my 2 cents, Forget the whole, you got to have skin in the game. I get it, you do. But skin in the game can be publicly committing, which I've done here. I want to be consistent. I want to grow this channel. And I really, really believe this is a path in. Plus, if you are a midlife woman like me, this is a great time. You get to show up, messy, middle, and all. We get to share what we actually know, and people need it. And people don't want the overproduced production. You don't have to do that anymore. And there was a while it felt like that. You don't have to dance. You don't have to be Mr. Beast. All of those things. Just be you. There's an audience for everyone. All right. So YouTube is number 2. And then, of course, number 3, which is near and dear to my heart, is email marketing. And not just Substack email, but a true email service provider. I use Kit, which used to be ConvertKit, but they've changed their name to Kit. While you can obviously send via email, and I'm sort of in the middle of this test, you can send email via Substack. You can't do the segmenting. You can't do automations that go out to somebody who's clicked this, therefore you can put him over here. There's a lot more you can do. Once you start going and getting subscribers on Substack, I would recommend you sign up for email marketing platform. There's tons out there. Again, I like Kit. It's easy to use. I know it. There's probably some that people might think are better. I don't care. I don't want to reinvent the wheel. I've said this before. The two things that made the biggest difference in my business over the last years was podcasting, really grew my audience, connected me with a ton of people, and then email marketing. It's the only thing I wish I had started sooner was email marketing. And I started doing daily emails. And for me, I fully went into that saying, okay, some people are going to unsubscribe. This is not their cup of tea. And it didn't matter. I knew I needed to do this for myself because I wanted to build that muscle. I wanted to get in the habit and the practice. Mind you, this was after I had already spent a year following another email marketer, but I watched what he did. And I paid attention to the way he would open with a story and pivot the story to a lesson, the lesson into an offer, whatever it is. And he sold every day. And I thought, okay, I'm going to practice this. And so you can practice in public. That's the beauty of email marketing. And here's the caveat, is that I've connected Kit to Substack. Substack does not have an API. An API is basically what allows you to connect tools, right? It's open so that you can connect them. They can talk to each other. Well, Substack does not have an API. So there's an automation, and I'll put the link to, there's an article on Substack that this guy walked me through, and it's with a tool called Make. And basically what I did is I set up filters in Gmail. And so every time I get a new subscriber from Substack, I have a Gmail filter and it goes into a little folder, and then Gmail's the trigger that sends that email subscriber into ConvertKit or Kit. So now I can't do it the other way around. So here's a little story for you. This is a little off script. I was going to start sending all of my emails from Kit, because then if all the emails got sent from Kit, then I didn't have to worry about people unsubscribing in one place and not the other, because I can't do the automation the other way around. So if somebody unsubscribes from Kit, there's no way to automatically unsubscribe them from Substack. So I did a little test. It's only been a couple weeks. However, my open rates went up for one of my newsletters. It's a smaller list, so it was very easy to make that happen. Open rates went up for one. I didn't notice much of a difference in click-through rates on either newsletter. My Spark newsletter has way more. That's my digital marketing one. And of course, you can subscribe to that below. I didn't notice much of a difference with click-through rates with that. It has more links. Here's the kicker. Because I'm not sending from Substack, I have a feeling it's hurting my algorithm within Substack, because I'd publish the newsletter and send, and some people might want to read it online, or they might want to open the Substack app. And so I paused that. I didn't cancel Kit or anything. I'm going to keep it going, but I think I'm going to reserve Kit for more nuanced segments or follow-up sequences, and then just continually cross-reference them. I don't know what else to do. There's a whole lot workarounds for this, other than manually going in and unsubscribing people from Kit who have unsubscribed on Substack. But it doesn't matter, because really, I mean, I could upload a spreadsheet from both, plug it into ChatGPT, and say, please give me an updated list of people who are here and not that, whatever, right? So I can have that work done for me from AI. So it's not that big of a deal. I just will have to go in and manually remove them. So those are the three main platforms. So Substack and YouTube are your publishing. That's where you're going to get traffic, organic free traffic from people who are interested in you. The email marketing piece is where you can get into more segmentation and make the right offer to the right person at the right time. There's a lot more you can do within Kit than you can in Substack. Who knows? If they decide to pull the trigger and say, hey, you can have email automation, that would be a paid account, I'd happily do it, because then it'll only be in one place. But for the time being, this is my marketing trifecta. And you can also get started with Kit for free, by the way. I should tell you that. The one thing you would have to pay for is Make to create that automation. Let's see, $10 a month, maybe? So between all of these, if you only had to pay $10 a month, not a bad way to get a business started, right? And to start building your audience and connecting with people and finding what works and what doesn't. I mean, this is what, my 6th video. I've got a ways to go until I really start figuring out what it is that is resonating with people. Now, I'm talking about a couple different topics, and I know a lot of people will say, you got to niche down, you got to do this. I'll cross that bridge if that tends to be true, and I need to do 2 separate channels. But honestly, this is me. I'm the brand. This is the business. I am a digital marketer. I do a ton of online marketing. And then I've got the women, wisdom, and wealth. And so there are sort of 2 pieces of the same pie. One is the marketing. One is the money mindset for women. And so if you nail this, then you can jump into a business that can generate revenue. Obviously, you don't have to do both. But the point is, I'm figuring this out. I am practicing in public, and that is the best way to do it. Because I'll tell you, nobody gets clear through thinking about it. You might, but clarity usually comes through the doing, through the deploying of the action, trying, testing, and seeing what works. You'll find your right people. I swear to God, you guys, this is the simplest way to start. In all the 17 years I've done this, this is what I would do. And lastly, just one more little caveat on social media. It's kind of a hot mess right now, in my oh so humble opinion. The big platforms there's a little bit of a come to Jesus moment with their involvement in a bunch of other things. I'm thinking probably LinkedIn is where I would share and engage content. But right now, this is my focus. I don't have the bandwidth to spend more time and energy on anything else. And this is working. Lastly, the other thing that you can do is you start connecting and you start practicing and publishing is collaborating. Like I mentioned earlier, I had this incredible call, which we'll be doing an interview or something. But if you say to someone, this is my audience, this is what I'm doing, would you be willing to email your list? I'll email mine. Again, this is a priority of email marketing. Newsletter swaps, email swaps, collaborations, highlighting someone else. There are so many organic ways to grow. And again, the beauty of Substack is it's a feel-good place. It's not real smarmy. You know, the old saying, marketers ruin everything. That has not happened yet. So I would jump in and just pay attention, even if you want to spend a month watching what other people are doing, finding publications. I follow gardeners, I follow marketers, I follow political publications, I follow women's publications. There's something there for everyone. So as you can see, there are plenty of categories where you can find people that resonate with you, are in your same niche, or just have another interest outside of your business or your purpose for being on Substack. We all have hobbies, right? Remember those things before we had to monetize everything? Lastly, there are so many new things coming out of Substack. I have recently joined a platform called Notes Underground, and I'll link to that below, where you can connect with other people to engage in notes, to build your community. You comment on them and vice versa, but you actually have to manually go in and read and comment and share. And it's a great way to build your audience. So let's just go ahead and wrap this up. Again, my 3 platforms that I am using to double down and grow at this stage with the amount of experience I have behind me are Substack, YouTube, and email marketing. And the easiest way to get started with all 3 of them, they're not going to cost you a penny to get started. You just need to create and show up. So that's all I've got for you today. As always, thanks for watching. If you're interested, I will have the link to the visual guide to Substack below and the Notes Underground. And of course, get on the email list with the Spark. All of that's linked below, and I will catch you guys next time.